So good evening everybody to our Environment and Facilities meeting on the 22nd of January 2026. Morris removed himself from the committee. Were you here last night? No. No. Gillian Trumbull wasn't here last night, was she? So I wonder if she's had the emails. It's unusual because she's quite good at giving apologies, isn't she?
I wrote a text her yesterday, actually, just now against Circle Council, and I forgot.
Yeah.
But she wasn't meant to be going, so I think she's all right.
So, just going to go through the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 20th of November. Oh.
Sorry to interrupt, Chair. The next item on the agenda is interests.
Oh, so... So the minutes, I'll take it that we've all read them. We've gone through, Steve and I, all the actions, which have been, a number of them went to full council last night and sort of were, ticked. So anybody got any questions? No? I'm happy to propose they're a true reflection of the meeting, seconded by Councillor Slade. All in favour? And the actions the same. So matters arising, we've been through them. And then we move to item 5, which is the open session for electors of Newquay. I can't remember, do we go letters first or people in the room first?
You can do it whichever way you wish.
Okay, we'll go people in the room first then, yeah. I will just say that I have spoken to Sam with Linda to explain that when members of the public come to the public gallery, they can only really ask questions about items that are on the agenda. But Sam just wants to furnish us with some information. We will just listen to it. We will make no decision. We'll make no comments. He will just have his say, and then we'll move on to the next one. So I'm not saying you don't know the process, but that is the process about a meeting. You cannot ask questions unless it's on the agenda.
Hello. Okay, so I'm Sam from Mothersurf on the Killer Court, the cafe at the Killer Court there. We actually recently got hit quite hard by the storm, and we lost our temporary shelter. It's been quite a big loss for us and for the Newquay community. Not just the people that would enjoy the surf, but the majority of the people within the homes around the area, the assisted living homes. And what we are asking for is we're asking to rebuild our shelter. It's a temporary shelter. It's only up for the rainy months, and it will come down for the summer. It's been set up and designed to be removed in this new design, it has been removed for all storms. So any storm that comes in, we can take it down within an hour. And it withstood lots of other storms. It wasn't just a shelter, though. It created a warm, comfortable, bright area for the community. And with this winter being so difficult, I know that a lot of people in Newquay, especially local businesses, have shut down, offering hardly any other services to our community. What we promise as a company on the Killer Court is that we will be there every day. Not Christmas Day, not New Year's Day, but every day other than those days, we are offering a service. It's inclusive and it's for everyone. We were meant to be on the agenda, in my opinion, and I have pushed this forward, but it hasn't been put on our agenda this evening. Obviously, it's urgent that we get this message to you, who are the committee. On the morning of the storm, we received an email saying, do not rebuild your shelter. Now, this was heartbreaking for us because we just picked up our shelter from the floor, and we knew that our community would not be able to come to our service that we offered them. So after picking it up and clearing it up, we started designs and started new movements on a new shelter, which looks very much the same, but with a very flash perspex front, which would be clear and would offer like a perfect window out. It would still be removable and replaceable. And rather than using the reinforcement bars that we had before, we are rolling a scaffold bar, which would also connect exactly the same, but it would be removable with fast release screws. This means I can remove it within about an hour, which is fantastic, because if there's another big storm, like that freak Storm Gretty that killed most of Newquay and a lot of Cornwall, we won't be struggling as we are now. Now, what we urge you to do is please take into your hearts that all the people here in Newquay really do wish for this site. It's not a pub. It's not a commercial corporate cafe. It's not expensive. It's available, it's accessible, and it's inclusive for the whole community, where we would have people from youngs to people that are much older. We have had to cancel our Purple Angels dementia programs that we were setting up to do the classes on in the future. They've had to be cancelled because we will not have the area for them. We've taken a dramatic loss. We employ 2 full-time, year-round members, one who has an apprenticeship in Cornwall College, and we are not going to be able to fulfill it. We urge you to help us. You have the position to look through this within your emails and within your time, within the next month, so we do not have to wait another 30 days for us to have an answer. The people really do want it. We do not want to lose our business, and the community do not want to lose their service. I've got plenty of notes, but I know I'm on a very short time, and I've probably used all my 3 minutes. Yeah, okay. So it's such a shame. We built it for the community, and we had no objections except for one. We spoke to quite a few of the community and how much they loved it. It made it feel special, magical. It was danced with little sparkly lights. It could be open for longer, and it offered a safe environment in the dark on the Killer Court, which doesn't have enough lighting. It was an open door for people taking night walks, and for the disabled community and the defenseless, people that find it hard to be out there. I've sent a letter in, which I have asked to be sent to you from one of our clients that has had to stop coming. There are so many of the local community that would love to use us, but they can't. It's now freezing, and the space is not built big enough for a wheelchair or a walking aid. It's not built big enough. We have set it up so everyone is welcome. And yeah, I urge you and beg you, with the desperation of our business and the hearts of the community, please, let's get this back up and running before we go. We cannot afford to be open with these small numbers. When you take away our seating area and you take away the people's comfort, they cannot come out. They're coming out to meet people. They're coming out to socialize. Some of these people only get out once a day, and we are their location where they can meet any other walks of life. We are not judgmental, we have no opinion, and we're just there. We're accessible, available, and we are unique for Newquay and for the community. Please, it's in your power send us the requirements that we need. I know you can't have an opinion, but I can see it in your face. Come on, send it through. Please help us. And I think that's it. I'll go now. Maybe
So obviously nobody else in the public gallery, so we'll go on to question 5A, which is correspondence. We have 2 letters, one from the Pentire Residents Association, one from North Shore. It's been passed back to Environment and Facilities, and we will discuss it at our next meeting, which is the 19th of February. So that is that. Item number 2 was a question from North Shore, which is quite short. So I will read this. So, to whom it concerns, my understanding of the original vision for the Killicourt enterprise units was that the business operating there would not cross over with goods and services already well established within the town centre, as stated in the lease application. The intention as communication during consultation and planning was to support complementary offerings rather than create direct competition with the existing local businesses. The introduction of a surf shop, Mother Surf Cafe shop, appears to conflict with that agreed direction. Surf retail is already a prominent and long-standing part of the town's commercial landscape, and allowing this type of business to trade on the Killicourt undermines the original intentions of the scheme and local businesses such as my own. You have invested significantly in the area. I would appreciate clarification on how this decision aligns with the stated objectives for the Killicourt. We will be writing to the individual who wrote this letter to us. I'm part of the original sort of Killicourt working party that applied for the grant, and the ethos still remains that we would try as best as we could not to compete with other businesses within the town, and I think we've done a really good job in regard to that. In regard to the business that they talk about, each tenant that takes a unit, whether it's a unit or the cafe, they have an informal interview, and it used to be myself, Lewis Gardner and Graham Jones. We were the working party. After they left, it just was Drew Creek and I, and we call it an interview, but it's an informal chat. We go through the tenancy agreement, we tell them what they can and can't do. So A-boards was a no-no, spilling their retail products out onto the Killicourt was a no-no. But in this case, the difference here was that the surfboards and the wetsuits were sustainably made from bamboo. I think I might not have the right material, but I believe it was bamboo. And as a result, we made a decision that we would go with that, the cafe and the boards, but it wasn't to become a surfboard area. They could put their surfboards up within the cafe, which there is a cafe there, and put that they're for sale. But I do know sometimes that they have a selection outside, and I think this might be what the individual is relating to. So what we will do is we will ask the office to look into that, because I believe they were selling Christmas trees at Christmas and then offering to have the old trees come back, and they would sort of do whatever you do to get the little bits and put on the, but we were doing that as a town council. So to whoever wrote this letter, if you're listening, we'll get the officers to have a look at the tenancy, and then they will get back to you with a letter. Thank you.
Ta-da! Me. Hi, Linda. Sorry, we haven't met before, have we? No.
No, hello.
Yeah, I'm the town councillor sort of intermediary with Newquay and Bloom. So I go to all their meetings and I submit a little report as to what's talked about. So Leslie has all the Newquay and Bloom tools in her garage at her place. And we've been chuntering for ages about finding an alternative store that we'd put them in. And I noted the other day that a box of containers been put out the back door in that funny parking space when you go out the back. And there's room for another container of that. So I'd sort of cleared it with Andy Curtis. And I met with Leslie Monday or Tuesday with Simon. And we measured up that Newquay and Bloom can have a container there to put their tools in. So it frees up that Leslie has her garage. So they have water containers, they have their big bags for collecting debris, as well as all their tools and everything. So it's in a central location, and that they'll get an access card for Wednesdays and Sundays that they can come in and pick the tools up and everything. And keep them there, so it'll be relatively secure. They're paying for the box. Yeah, so they can get in and out the car park. They're paying for the box and everything. Simon's going to fix it to the ground, and it'll just make their lives a bit easier. So, we talked about that. We talked about because we're hosting. Well, not just because we're hosting, but we're hosting Southwest in Bloom. The mayor sort of wrangled that decision at Southwest in Bloom at Torquay. So this year is the National Year for Reading. Kathy's going to go nod. Yes, it is. So we're going to have a miniature children's garden competition. Based around that theme. So it can be a fictional or a non-fictional book, and produce a miniature garden and things. And we're going to have them hopefully then displayed at the library garden is what we're hoping and things. So it's like oh, it's nice. Yeah. Newquay and Bloom didn't get a grant from the Headland Hotel for the Tree Walk booklet, so that's gone back out there for consideration. But they have got the form through to apply for the £800 for from GWR for doing work at the station. It wasn't quite the impression that we were given at the time. We thought. Well, Newquay and Bloom thought that they'd get that for looking after the beds and things, but no, you have to specifically apply for stuff. So until they get that, then actually, caring for GWR, it's not necessarily going to happen. AGM will be down on the 12th of March, Thursday 12th of March, and it's usually held down at the cottages down in the gardens. Not yet. No, sorry. Oh, you're keen on that. Yeah. I'll confirm and tighten up on that one when definitely know. It's usually in the afternoon, I think. Yeah. This year's garden competition, Leslie's going to meet with Bob and Shirley and discuss what was going on with that. They've applied, Kieran's helping them apply for a grant for equipment for clearing the church path. Shirley's on with that. The church, do you mean, the path that I mean?
You mean that starts at Mount Wise and takes you all the way down to the precinct?
Yeah, so that was there was a planning application from the solicitors for along St Michael's Road, and that they wanted to go across the church path. Yeah. That stretch of church path is one of our oldest historical pieces of Newquay. even though at the moment it's not protected as such, but the stone wall there was the main footpath to get to the church. So, so they've come to agreement, I think, with Cormac that they're going to look after and weed the path, but it needs like really sharp hose and things to do the weeding on it and to maintain it. So Kieran's helping them with grant for that equipment. We talked about the signage for the blooming wards. So I'm hoping once the signage gets, the new signage for the library and Marcus Hill is outside, I presume it's going to be, as far as I understand, a new sign, you know, with 2 metal poles in the ground sort of thing, that we can get the South Western, you know, our Newquay Gold Award, do it as an aluminium print on that, and then just get it wired on to the back of that, and so we can change it every year, or leave them up. We can stack them up. It's what they used to do when you go into Truro at the traffic lights, and you just turn going down Tregoles Road, and it had the "Welcome to Truro" sign there. They used to have the Bloom Award on that when you went round the corner. So that's hoping we can deal with that there. So the collaboration with the Twinning Association. So this year, I think the Twinning Association is celebrating, oh gosh, how many years is it with Dinard in France? Is it the early 80s? How many did that make it? 40 years. So sort of this year, yeah, so I was like, oh, time flies. I came up with the idea with a bug chateau for the Dinard garden, but I was put down on that because they say, no, we don't have chateaus in Dinard. And they have these... Stop it. But they have these huge, like massive, like Edwardian houses, and they are beautiful. So it's going to be a bug maison. I'm glad I can cheer everybody up on that. So, so we're hoping that we're hoping maybe for 2, one to go in the Dinard garden and one outside Marcus Hill. We thought it'd be quite funky, yeah, so Shirley's going to approach students at the Orchard for maybe getting it made. I have a friend of mine who's a carpenter. He's not doing so much at the moment, so I might approach him as well, because it'd be the sort of thing that he would have loved to make. So our collection of boats that we got from down at, I think it was from the harbour originally, like small, no, the Gannel, was it the Gannel? These like small, they're like 5, well, they're not that small, they're like 6 foot boats. So we're thinking that maybe one of those could go in the Dinard garden as well. They're at Shirley's at the moment. They've got 3 of them. So,
Shirley's going to be busy.
yeah. Well, I'm sure she'd be over the moon to get rid of those. So thinking of doing sort of like a you know, setting that out in the, sinking it down and putting that in the garden. But I mean, if those of you observant, Cormac's in there in the Dinard garden at the moment, and they're going to do, they're tarmacking the footpaths. But trees had come down as well, so they've been sorting that out. So it's looking a bit bereft of vegetation a bit, actually, losing the...
Sorry, Dinard garden is the one outside
the Griffin.
Oh,
Griffin.
that's what's going on there.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry, I assumed you
I've
knew.
been asked by a few people, that's all.
Oh, yeah, no. So they're tarmacking the footpaths, because the footpaths, they were like bound gravel, I think, or something like that. And it was just really in a poor state, and the sides had collapsed, and they weren't well defined, so they were tarmacking those. But as they were there, then they've sorted the trees that had fallen over as well.
That is part of the new Victoria Villa.
No. No, no.
But in their planning paperwork that was invoiced last week, it talked about the Dinard garden as though it belonged to them. That if you read
Oh, really?
it as an article, you would think
That's
it was
No,
it's not.
it's got it's got covenants in it that it is for the people
It
of
was gifted,
Newquay.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is gifted, and they can't have. I think they like to, and they tried, and they're not able.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a planning application I'm looking forward to. Yeah. It's just sort of like, so digressing completely, I have this thing of like planning applications that I'm really pleased that I'll never come across. One of them would be like the Chinese embassy in London. Imagine having to deal with that. Oh, what's going on in that room? Torture. And another one would be like the building of a cathedral. Can you imagine that, being in like Coventry or, you know, with a cathedral going out? Oh, you want a crypt? What are you going to do down there then? Sorry. So, yes, no, so, yeah. But it was interesting, though, the people that were put in the planning application before for the Griffin site with the 7 and 8 story tower blocks that they wanted in there, counted the Dinar Garden as their open garden space.
They had a walkway from it, do you remember?
Yeah,
Into the garden.
it's just like, yeah, it's just like, no, we're not having that, thank you. Yeah. And they, we discussed the replacement for the Harbour Heights seating, which is in quite a sad state. So Shirley's going out and looking for quotes for that.
Can I just ask, is that in
Yep.
front of the Red Lion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's the walkway down.
no, it's, yeah.
Harbour Heights is the bit, you know, there's the flower beds. If you go
So
down
they
to
all
Harbour Hill,
in a bad state, because some of them were just reinstated when Cornwall Council had to bolster the wall. They were new benches put in.
No, it's not. Harbour Heights is the bit when you come out of Sainsbury's and go down past the Russell place.
yeah,
Yeah.
and down the
Is
steps.
there, yeah.
Those steps, it's all those steps.
But they did bring them
Cornwall
forward.
Council had to put a load of concrete in
Yeah,
to
you're
support the road, and they put new benches at the top in front of Drevilcock.
It might be the next layer down. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't know for sure which ones, but I know
No,
there's
I
different
think,
layers.
I think it's the benches underneath. I think that,
As long as you check that they are in a bad state of repair.
oh no, they
Shirley's
will do, because, I
amazing.
mean, they do all the gardening there, so they are very, I mean, it become highlighted that they were, and,
Can I also just give Shirley some extra appreciation for how hot she is on the graffiti down there? When I worked for BID, we'd get emails about somebody else would have graffitied behind the benches
Yeah.
that I assume she's talking about, and she'd be down there and she'd paint it over the same
Yeah.
day. Like, she's absolutely amazing for looking
Yeah,
after that
I mean,
space for the community.
with yeah, I'm sure Shelley will appreciate that. Well, all the broom, there's various blue
Yeah.
ladies which are pretty hot with pots of paint down there, because not who's got the graffiti contract? Is it Biffa or Suez? Biffa, yeah. They will only remove graffiti if it is offensive. So.
Offensive to who?
That's
Yeah.
quite subjective.
Yeah. So if people are just tagging their name, they won't do anything about it unless they go and stick very often a male appendage.
Oh dear.
Yeah. With attachments. Seems to be a common theme that can accrue. Yeah.
Well, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, moving swiftly. I don't know what it's. I don't know what it is about young gentlemen that feel that that's okay, because you don't see. So this will be out there. You don't see candle flames painted up, do you, as an equivalent? Anyway, right. Moving on. Alex at Forest for Cornwall then has put, and we've had that as General Counsel for the tree planting at Trenance, 10 o'clock on the 18th of February. So if you're going to that, you need to register Eventbrite to help out with that. So that went out for Newquay and Bloom group as well. And then the next meeting was the 2nd of February. Have you guys got anything that you want me to feed back?
So just to say thank you to you as our representative, but also to thank Leslie and her crew.
Yeah,
'cause
they work
do
really
an
hard.
amazing job.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are really, they love what they do, but actually it's a credit to what
Yeah.
they do achieve, and we thank them.
Yeah. Can I just say, Linda, I think I messaged Louise that if my Newquay and Bloom, if you're doing it next time, it will, to put it back up the item, or does Louise do the agenda?
Yep, so Louise does the agenda, but what I'll do is I'll feed that back so that it can be moved up rather than keep making resolutions.
And we need to have on then the pole wheel feedback for the permaculture garden as well,
Okay.
which used to, you know, I used to do both, but Councillor Hubbox and I both sort of like sharing of that. So I have had emails from Tristan. So I don't think he's been with there was the Trance trees, which I sorted out. So I will talk about Seasons Environment too. Tristan emailed myself because he didn't know who to go to because he'd been on to the phone at Cornwall Council that trees had come down covering the footpath where they're going to be doing the tree planting. So by the old pitch and putt down by the viaduct, and Cornwall Council, whoever he spoke to, said it wasn't their property and expected him to get on to the county registrar to find out whose property it is. Well, it is all their property, and we clarified that. So I emailed Alex Forrest for Cornwall and Councillor Creek because it's his area as well. And Alex had actually been down there, had noted them, and was going to sort it out and as to who that was. So that got cleared up. But Tristan's copying me into a message for Joe Poecki about creating a second pond up at Pole Wheel, because you know the first pond below the play area somehow sprung a leak years ago, this is, and doesn't hold water anymore. But they're talking about creating a second pond by it. So it was for the process for that, whether Connor, you know, Connor out by Ben does grows the vegetables.
Oh, yeah, I do know Connor.
Yes, you do know Connor.
I do know Connor. Yeah.
No, don't go no. Yeah, apparently, yeah, so he's got digging equipment that it'd be a possibility to go out. So Joe Pease was, yeah, sort of like, if you give me the details and then we can put out for quotes, and then Connor would be able to put in a quote for doing that. So so it's really good that Tristan is really positive these days, and has got a like second wind with Pole Wheel, I think, hasn't he? I think we've sorted a lot of problems out that were issues that were there. So yeah, and is being actively going on for that. And then the drop curb, the planning went through for the drop curb up there to give access for then hopefully then in the future like disabled parking, and if we get the outdoor classroom and everything up there.
Who's doing the pond and who's paying for it?
We don't know yet. We need to like get quotes and things for it. So whether that will come back in the future. So it's I think already. So Joe P suggested that maybe Luxon might pay for it. Yeah. I think that's it. I think I can shut up now. But has anybody got anything else that they want?
Can I just
Don't-
ask, so Nuki
Yeah.
and Bloom are paying for that container?
Yes,
Like a
they did.
shipping container?
Oh, it's not, no, a shipping container, no, it would be a small, like, you know, one of those, I suggested an aluminium, like
Like the garden?
two
Small
foot,
box.
2 foot by 4 foot by 6 foot, and it will fit in there.
When you said a container, I was thinking a shipping
Well, oh,
container.
no,
So-
no.
All
No,
I want to know is about the insurance, because if they've got tools, etc., I suppose we just need to look into, is it covered under the town council? That's important. because,
okay, yeah,
I'm not saying,
insurance,
you know, people can get under the barrier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people are going to
Yeah.
go and do that, but I think we should just need to know that.
okay, yeah, insurance, right. Memory skills now, I'm thinking, oh, can I get away with writing that when I get home? Right, no, I'll write it down on here. Okay, thank you.
So sorry, Chair, just coming on those couple of those points. So what I'll do is we'll have it in the minutes, and I will pass my debrief, bring those two items up. In relation to the storage container, the query that you've raised, that could be covered just by a very simple agreement. So I'll bring that up in my debrief as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't want
Thank
it
you.
to go away and not know if we think about
No,
insurance.
no, I hadn't thought about insurance, no.
Tools. Do you know what I mean? They come to us for a grant.
Yeah, yeah.
Tools, and
Yeah,
So we'd be paying twice if we had to sort of...
yeah, yeah.
Lovely, thank you. The estates report, and I do know that Joe Pawecki put in you may have got a separate email, I don't know, from Louise. The only recommendation on there is for us as a committee to release £400 for a planning application to look at lighting going onto the Killicourt. Obviously, the reason for that, it is quite dark down there, and the CCTV can't pick up very well if there's anything going on because of the lighting. So it make it safer for residents, but also it enhance our CCTV. If it goes in for planning permission, yeah.
I was going to say that you're going to need more than it because you're going to need building regs for that, and that's going to be a lot more than planning.
Well, we've just
Well,
been
you're gonna
told
do it,
to ask for
okay.
£400 for planning permission.
Okay. Okay.
That's what Joe's recommendation is. So we'll go with that and see what
And then
happens.
they'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll just
Yeah.
come back.
So
yeah.
excuse me, Chair, if I can just come in on that one.
Sorry.
So this is going to be a recommendation to full council.
Yeah.
This is a project that is in a number of stages. So the very first stage will be to submit the planning application, because if you don't get the planning application approval, the project won't go any further. So that's just the first stage. And then if planning approval was obtained, that is then when grant funding would be obtained to carry out the full project.
Lovely, thank you. So I'm happy to propose. Councillor Slade, second. Yeah. Yeah.
I might be being dim. Where it says in the corner, lantern, Urbis, so are these flat spotlights? Is that what we're looking at?
There's a picture of
Is it
the
a street
light.
light? Where am I looking?
Like lampposts.
Okay, so it is a street
They're
light.
literally
pole,
on
it's not
page 7. See page 7?
Good.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at the first attachment.
Can you see
Ignore
page
me.
7?
Is it on the second attachment?
SL001A, is it on there? I haven't got 7 pages. Yes, I have, yes, I have, yes, I have.
Page 7, they're just showing us
Thank you.
existing illumination, but it's in Southampton, but that's what they're looking
That's what
at.
they're like. Perfect, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes?
Sorry. I will depart, I promise. I'll do an Elvis in a minute. Stop it, that's mean. Can, yeah. Oh, dearly departed, yeah. Yeah, can it be looked into sort of like for wavelengths and things to be sort of like moth friendly?
Moth friendly.
That'd be a challenge. There'll be an eye roll at that one. But I mean, because we were going to think about going for butterfly moth friendly town, weren't we? Because we basically covered all of the criteria for that. So
And there's all that
I need to-
Yeah.
yeah. So that'd be quite good.
Stage, wouldn't it, to be honest? But
Yeah.
we can tell Kira that's what we're looking
Yeah.
at. Yeah,
Sorry, can I just, no, I'm assuming it's probably for later on because like you said, this is multiple stages and apologies, it's probably in here somewhere as well, but obviously as part of that, just because it's fairly new to me, there's a whole piece around energy consumption and all of that and how much, yeah, brilliant, thank you. Doesn't have to be there now, but.
Yeah, so my expectation is I imagine that you have environmental and energy policies in place, and I'm sure the estate manager would have
Thank
taken that
you,
into
that's
consideration when he got
I
the
do
quote
thank
through.
them.
But yeah, I will mention those in the minutes just to confirm.
Lovely. Then there's item 8, which we have already discussed. That's she's just departing the room. And then item 9 is correspondence. We haven't received any correspondence. Item 10 is any other business. So I'll just ask you, have you got anything you want to ask? You want anything else? So obviously, as chair of E&F, we were told last night that Councillor Morris was departing from our committee. So I'm just appealing to any of the, well, we will put an email out to full council to see if anybody would like to join us, because it's such a lovely committee. But to thank Councillor Morris in the minutes for his work thus far. And just to say, date of the next meeting is the 19th of February at 7 p.m. Thank you. Thanks.